Welcome to the Million Pound Mission podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. Now, I've personally lost over 100 pounds, and I've applied what I've learned from my own transformation journey to help my hometown clients lose over 35,000 pounds in just 5 years. Now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by delivering my best weekly tips, motivation, inspirational stories, and transformation strategies so that you can gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And the perfect time to start taking action is right now. So let's do this. This episode is sponsored by you. Yes, that's right. I didn't make a mistake. You guys are going to help me keep this Wednesday episode advertisement free. And you can do that by supporting me as one of my patrons. Now you can go to www.patreon.com/million pound mission and find out how you can become one of my Patreon patrons. Now Patreon is spelled Patreon. So patreon.com/million pound mission. You can sign up to become one of my patrons and get access to my private Million Pound Mission live Facebook group where we're going to be doing live online workouts, live mobility sessions, and live question and answer sessions. I'd love to connect with you guys and get you more involved in this Million Pound Mission. So check it out at www.patreon.com/million pound mission. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of the Million Pound Mission podcast. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude. How's it going out there? I am fired up. This is episode number 108, Keto Tips and Amazing Recipes with my friends Matt and Megha from the Keto for Normies podcast and the website ketoconnect.net. I have been so excited about this interview. I've been working on getting these two on the show for a while, and I'm so pumped that we got them on. We got connected, and they really deliver. This is, an episode about two people that became passionate about the ketogenic diet. It started to impact their lives, and then they started sharing their journey through their YouTube page, their website, and now their podcast. And, they call their podcast Keto for Normies because they feel like they are normal people just putting themselves through the experiment of the ketogenic diet and doing multiple experiments on top of that and letting you all learn and letting us all in on their journey so that we can all shorten our learning curve. And on top of all the tips that they deliver here, we talked about how they got started, what mistakes they see people making, what they've learned from the interviews that they've done, and got, as they've gotten connected with a larger group of people, what they've learned from that, basically that test group of all these people that are out there doing experiments with them. But they also deliver some free recipes that you're just going to thank me. All right. Just go ahead and thank me in advance. These keto recipes are the bomb. Like, they are the best of the best. They give their top 10 most delicious recipes in a link that I'll put in the show notes. You don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, especially if you're doing keto, which I know a lot of you are, it's not to be missed. I'm telling you, you're going to thank me. You're going to thank me. Now, I'm psyched to dive in this interview, but you'll notice inside the interview, Matt and I connected because he is a big fan. If you listen to their show, the Keto for Normies podcast, he is a big fan of the big intro. He likes to get loud and rowdy at the beginning of his show. Megha, I don't think she likes it so much, but Matt and I are on the same page. So I promised him a big intro for this show. So here we go. Today, you're going to witness the most anticipated podcast in the history of the Million Pound Mission. Podcast fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions listening around the world. From the world headquarters of the Million Pound Mission, also known as my basement. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to podcast. All right, we have Megha and Matt here. I am psyched for you guys to be on the Million Pound Mission. Welcome to the podcast. How you doing today?
We're doing great. Thanks so much for having us.
Great to be here.
So I have been binge listening to your podcast. I got connected with our mutual friend Robert Sykes of the Keto Savage show, and he's like, you got to check these guys out. They're awesome. So I just went on a spring break trip, binge listened. So I hope that you saw a huge uptick in your downloads. I don't know if it made a difference or not. You guys are always way up there in the rankings and everything. But I really enjoy the show. A lot of what I like to promote is I'm a regular guy. I'm just somebody that's gone out there and done something to change my health, to change my lifestyle, and I help other people do that. And I feel like you guys are in that same niche of, the keto for normies. That's the whole thing, is helping real people get real results and just providing real information. So I would actually love for you guys to start off and just tell my audience a little bit about you and how you got involved with the ketogenic diet and how you end up developing Keto Connect and Keto for Normies. So let's start with you guys.
Go for it.
So we started keto about 3 years ago now, and it was just like we had always been relatively health conscious, just like trying different things, figuring out what worked well for us. We were vegetarians for a little while, just standard like 6 meals a day type of thing. We did all that stuff. I think everyone kind of does a lot of different things along the way, and you kind of have to do that because you're checking boxes off and you're like, okay, that doesn't work great for me. And then when you finally find something that works substantially better for you, then you kind of know. Otherwise, you don't really know. There's always like the question of like, is this other thing better? Like maybe just eating all plants is the way to go. You never know. So 3 years ago, we started keto because we saw the movie That Sugar Film, and it basically just pinpointed us. Like we were eating the diet of the people in that movie because it's like, granola and orange juice for breakfast, seemingly healthy foods, like the fake health foods. And we were eating those all the time. So we kind of like tabulated it and we were like, okay, we're eating like 200 to 300 grams of carbs at least, probably like 100 grams of sugar a day. Let's just cut that out, especially the sugar, see how we feel. And at the time, we both had just basic desk jobs type of stuff. And she was going to college. I had a desk job. And when you're doing something like that, it's really obvious when you get a difference in like productivity and just like focus sitting at a desk 8 hours a day. So from there, we had always been cooking. Like that was kind of how we bonded when we first met. It was kind of natural. We were like, okay, now we'll start cooking keto things. Oh, there's a few people doing this. There's no one like us. There's no like young kids sharing recipes on the internet that also do YouTube. So let's just try doing this, sharing what we're doing. Maybe it'll help some people. And it seems to have caught on. People like it. And I think just kind of as you alluded to at the start, like there's so many people telling you what you should be doing. There's not that many people showing you how to do it, making it seem approachable. Like we're just normal people living a normal life eating keto, and keto can seem really intimidating when you first look at it. 20 carbs a day total. That's crazy. It's crazy talk. But when you see us doing it and we're just living a normal life, it makes it seem a little easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the thing that you hit on there is just the realism of you guys and how people can relate to you and your story. And that's what I love about your website, Keto Connect, is that it's kind of a home base for people just to go, and that's low pressure. It's not like, like I mentioned our friend Robert, like he's a professional bodybuilder, and that can be very intimidating for people. He's got great information, but a lot of people would be intimidated by that. Or even, somebody like me that's had this huge weight loss, that can be intimidating for people as well. I think it's so needed what you guys provide with that Keto Connect. I love the name because that's really what it is. It's a place for people to connect and learn about keto. And the recipes are off the hook, by the way, too. So,
thank you.
Yes, yeah. So, Megha, I know that you actually had you were on the path to becoming a lawyer and all this stuff. So tell me about your story a little bit about how you kind of went from that into now being this keto expert. That's a pretty big transition there.
So I guess my biggest dream has always been to be a Kardashian, and I think I'm on the road to that, hopefully. But law school was never really something I enjoyed or wanted to pursue on my own. It was more of a family pressure type of situation. And so after getting out of law school, attempting the bar, failing the bar exam, fortunately for my sake, I realized that I'm almost wasting my time doing something I don't enjoy. It's not going to make me feel like I've achieved success, or even the money won't make up for the misery I will feel if I continue to pursue something I despise, that I didn't want to be around the kind of people that, lawyers tend to be made up of. And so luckily I'd found a partner who was willing to, put everything on the line and start a business. And we worked tirelessly after, I would study for the bar, and then I found a job afterwards, and we would go to work, and then we'd come home and we'd just work on Keto Connect. And I quickly realized that, when you enjoy something, whether or not it makes you lots of money or brings you lots of fame, it's something you should continue to pursue. And for us, it worked out that we had come into the keto market when people were needing it. And so I don't even think about law school, to be honest. I don't even think about that part of me. Sometimes, words come to mind and I'll use them and Matt will be like, hey, that was a good word. But aside from that, I'm paying off my debt from law school, but Keto Connect is my passion and it's what I enjoy.
Yeah, I think that really comes through with the way you guys deliver your message. You can tell that it's kind of that burn the ships approach. Like, I know Matt had dreams of playing in the NBA, so you both had big shifts of, anytime you get really passionate about something and you kind of get on that life's course, it's very easy just to stay along that life's course. So I think it's a very brave decision to say, hold on a second, this may not be the right thing for me, or this may not be the realistic thing for me. So I really applaud you guys for just kind of opening up your eyes. And I think more people should kind of have that evaluation period and just think about what's the right path for them. So you guys have been killing the Keto for Normies, killing the Keto Connect, and you get to interact with a lot of people. So I love to pick the brains of people like yourself, because with me, with my weight loss programs and things like that, I love to focus on what I call danger zones, like where people tend to mess things up, or that brick wall they keep on just slamming against. My philosophy is basically, I wrote a book that the philosophy was, I can help you get better results from any weight loss program by solving your danger zone. So we quit messing up the same things, and you can be consistent with your regimen and your program. You can get better results from anything. Mm-hmm. So with the amount of people that you're exposed to, what are you seeing with the ketogenic diet? Like, where are people messing up? Where are people having really hard times as far as not being able to complete it or stick with it?
I love that concept, danger zones. It's not something I've really ever considered, but yeah, there's definitely some major danger zones. First one being, I think it's applicable to most diets, is just like overthinking it, thinking you got to do everything 100% perfect from day one. It's like a gradual process. Starting a new diet, starting a keto diet is like the start of something, but it's really just like the midpoint in a grander process. Like, you're the first day you do keto, you're not going to have the macros right. You're probably not going to be doing it right. But over time, like, give it like a 6-month timeline even. You'll continually improve, and eventually you'll get to a much better diet. And then you got any?
Yeah. And so like consistency over perfection is kind of what we try to say is the biggest way to approach it. But then another thing is mindset. A lot of people go into any sort of new lifestyle or diet with these high expectations. They're like, oh, that person lost 20, I could lose 20. And without realizing that it's an individual process. Like, everyone's different. Everyone is going to move at their own pace. And so if you've only lost 5, 10, 15 pounds in the first couple months, people are automatically let down. They're like, what am I doing wrong? As opposed to like, hey, what are these awesome, benefits I've received from changing my lifestyle? How is my body looking? How is it feeling? And so focusing on like what they're doing wrong as opposed to all the good things that come out of changing your life.
Yeah, it's funny because so little of it is actually like the foods. Like the danger zones is never really the foods. Like, yeah, sure, there's like certain things maybe you want to stay away from, like, I don't know, like coconut sugar is deceptive. Like, people think it's like natural or something. You don't want to eat that. But like, it's mostly mental. And we as humans, we're looking for the shortcut. We don't want to be accountable. We want the easy thing that makes everything happen with no effort. And keto, a lot of times, I feel, is perceived as being that. It's the new thing. It's the new weight burner. It's the new fat burner. It has magical powers, mythical powers that you don't have to do a lot of work. You can eat as much bacon and like delicious things as you want, and you enter hyper fat burning mode, and you just lose all kinds of weight. It doesn't work like that. You have to get to the root of the problem. Whatever diet you choose, I mean, our opinion, obviously, you're going to feel better. It's going to be more sustainable weight loss when you do keto, just because, you're getting back in tune with your actual hunger. You're not eating these foods that humans aren't made to consume in moderation.
Like Cheetos.
Yeah, like you're not meant to just have a serving of Cheetos. Your human body is not conditioned for that. Like you have to just kind of get back to the less palatable foods, and there's no magic, basically. Like just expecting the extraordinary is a huge danger zone, I would say.
Yeah, and then trying to focus less on the numbers and make it more of a lifestyle. So, I mean, I'm a victim to this too. The weight always reflects in my mood that day. So if I'm up a couple pounds, even if it's just water retention or I'm on my period and I know that, I still let it impact me. Or people are always focused on what their ketone reading should be. And they're worried if I'm not in the right ketone range, then I'm not burning enough fat. But it's not all about the numbers. And I think people forget that because they're so focused on I need to look like this. I need to be as good as the next person. But it's all about you, make it your journey.
Yeah. I actually did a podcast a couple of months ago that I went over the key mistakes that I see people making. And one of them was that believing that keto was some type of hack. We live in this age of everyone wants to be the hack, wear the special blue blocking glasses or put, the special herb underneath your eyelids or something and it's going to make you burn more fat. And people see keto as a hack. And I'm like, it's not a hack. This is probably the most, I don't want to call it labor intensive, but focus intensive program nutritionally to do, just to get it started. You have to understand what macros are. You have to understand, the ratios. Like you said, it's not all about the numbers, but you have to have a basic understanding. It's not eat whatever you want whenever you're hungry or whatever. But it's something that you have to. It's the anti-hack. It's not the magic nutritional unicorn that you guys kind of described there. It's something that you need to be willing to participate in and give some time to. So with you guys, one of the things that I love about your show is that you talk about all the experiments that you're doing, and you love to test out you do all this stuff so we don't have to, right? So if it's a total bomb, I'm okay, I'm not going to do that. So things like the 4,000 calorie experiment or the carnivore diet and messing with your macros. So with the experiments, what kind of key takeaways have you learned from doing that? And what are some of the things that you've tried? Maybe something that you've tried that you're that probably wasn't such a good idea. Maybe on the opposite end, something that you tried and you're yeah, that needs to go in the arsenal for our keto plan moving forward. What are some of your insights on the experiments?
Yeah, so I think the experiments are great because it's kind of a workaround. We're not doctors, we're not scientists, but if you actually do something, then you're an expert on that and how it affects you. So that's kind of what we share on our channel, on our website. But I guess one big takeaway, the 4,000 calorie challenge, when I started that, I did 4,000 calories for 21 days. Kind of putting to the test the idea of, is there a metabolic advantage to doing a keto diet where, let's say, you control for calories, high carb versus keto, will you lose the same amount of weight at the end or gain the same amount of weight? And I didn't do the high carb version of it because I just didn't want to do that. But I did gain a lot of weight on the 4K calories. And one thing I learned is I thought 4K calories a day, that would be fun. I thought this was going to be a fun 21 days. The first 2 days were fun, but after that it was just a job. It was a chore. I felt terrible the entire time. And I gained about 8 pounds over the course of 21 days. But throughout the course, we have different takeaways, I think. Throughout the course of all of our challenges and just trying different things, I definitely say me more than her has leaned to not needing as much of this varied diet. You have to have all the colors of the rainbow in your diet on a daily basis. You need to take all these powdered green supplements. I'm more now of the opinion of just you eat good quality meats, you supplement a little bit of fat in there. At least that's the way I like to do it. Have a few servings of veggies if you want. It's optional in my opinion, and you'll be pretty much fine nutritionally.
And the 4K challenge was interesting because we did a lot of research during it. So we were trying to give big takeaways, new concepts such as NEAT came to my understanding.
Non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
So fidgeting, moving your fingers, just expended energy that Matt may have, but I don't have because he moves a lot more just as a previous athlete. And if I did the challenge, I would have probably put on a substantial amount of weight. Yeah. So not everyone can look at eating 4,000 calories and have the same results? Because your dieting history comes into play and your current body fat percentage. There's so many things that impact how you'll find results.
That has really been illuminating to me, because I was always kind of the person who's like, if you're not losing weight, you got to work a little bit harder. You got to figure this out. But just me and her, very different. I've been an athlete my entire life. She hasn't. Like right now we're on day almost 80 of a 90-day, like really regimented cutting plan. And I've lost 20 pounds in 80 days, just like consistently dropping body fat. And she has not had the same results at all, but she's like recompositioning a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just like your history has so much to do with it. And as she was saying about NEAT, that's really cool, because when you're eating in a surplus, everyone has like this 3,500 calories equals a pound of body fat type of idea, which is totally incorrect.
Yeah.
But like if I eat, let's say, 1,000 calorie a day surplus, I'm like just have a great history of dieting. I'm pretty lean. My body's going to figure out what to do with a lot of those calories just through like tapping my leg and like just higher body heat and stuff like that. And someone who's had a history of obesity, they're like type 2 diabetic, they eat 1,000 calorie surplus, not going to have the same thing. Their body probably won't react and like deal with those added calories as well as mine. And we learned that is like a highly variable thing from person to person, the NEAT that you actually get from the increase in calories.
Yeah. And then we've done a lot of other experiments. So like the egg fast, I would never do again. No. A lot of people go into like these weird fad fasts, like egg fast, butter fast, beef fast.
It's looking for shortcuts.
Yeah, they're looking for shortcuts. They're like, I need to break my stall, as opposed to being like just consistent and sticking to the diet. They just want these quick fixes. But then we've also done a cyclical keto diet and targeted keto diet. Yeah. And that was great for gym performance. I enjoyed both of those because they're very different. I personally preferred CKD. I think
which is like carbs maybe one night a week.
Yeah. And I think moving forward, I'm definitely going to be playing around with a lot more carbs. I enjoy vegetables. I enjoy a higher carb intake and maybe a lower fat intake. I also get my period every month, have a lot of different hormones than Matt. I want to have babies. And so I think my body, could maybe use some more carbs, and I want to figure that out by experimenting with it. And I will document that.
Yeah, I think we're past the point of thinking we have it figured out. So what I'll say at this point in time is she's leaning more towards, and I think this is generally a consensus, like women maybe do need a little bit more carbs. She's going to try doing more carbs. I feel great when I'm like 80% fat and almost no veggies, like maybe a couple servings a day for dinner. But yeah, we're going in opposite directions a little bit at this point, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, two things that I wanted to bring up. One, with the 4K challenge. So I've been doing keto for like 5 months straight now, and my maintenance calorie level is 4,000 calories to maintain my body weight.
Whoa!
Every day I eat that. So I share my FitnessPal logs with my clients, and they're like, "Holy crap, you're eating so much!" It's like 300 and something grams of fat every single day.
Yeah, what's the grams of protein?
I usually try to keep that below 140 if I can,
okay.
Like 120 to 140, because I weigh 215 to 220. All right, so I carry a lot of muscle mass, and I'm very active. I own a gym and a fitness studio, so I'm just going all the time. But yeah, 4,000 a day is normal. So if I want to lose weight, I'm like, well, I'm going to drop it down to like 3,750 or 3,500. And everybody else, like a lot of my clients that I get going with the keto plan, they tend to really undereat. Like they're like 900 calories. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're losing weight because of calorie restriction, not ketosis. And this is going to have a bad ending.
A lot of times it seems to be like inadvertent calorie restriction too, though. People just getting like back in tune with actual hunger as opposed to just like the whims of carbs.
Yeah, that's true. I had a funny story 2 weeks ago. We do weigh-ins at our gym. And a woman that's already lost 70 pounds is doing the keto plan to try something new. And I normally don't have people track their calories at all. And we just have, regimented eating and clean eating, things like that. So she's lost 70 pounds doing that. She starts tracking her calories and she's like, Adam, I'm worried. I'm eating 2,200 calories every day. And I go, are you still losing weight? She goes, yeah. I said, you're winning. That means you're winning. So you're doing good. Keep eating. So have you guys find that? So you said people kind of get back to eating only when they're hungry, but do you tend to see people really go almost to the too low end of the calorie when they start keto?
It seems like just like hearing back from people in the community, it seems like the more overweight you are, if you first start keto and you really give it a good solid like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you really subside like just off of your stored body fat and you don't feel that hungry. A lot of people even get like kind of a nausea type feeling just from eating all the fat, being very satiated. But it's most people I feel like are not actively restricting as much. I guess everyone kind of has a diety mindset these days to where you're trying to restrict. But yeah, it seems like a lot of it is just inadvertent, getting back in tune with your actual hunger. But I will say, like, for me, I think this applies to Megha too. We're the type of people who live to eat, and that's why we have a food blog and everything. And if left to our if left to our own devices, we are gonna like it's a restriction in a sense that like we'll eat all day if we can. Like that's what we love to do. So, and I think that's also kind of what gives us a decent perspective on YouTube and stuff, because so many people on YouTube are just like bodybuilders that don't think they're machines, you know? And it's like, yeah, like I'm not a machine guy. Like, what do I do? How do I deal with eating? I like eating delicious things. So I think that's kind of a tough thing for us for sure.
Yeah. And I see it more and more, especially with women eating like 900 calories, 1,000 calories. And I'm not a doctor and I'm not like a personal trainer or a dietitian. So it's hard for me to be like, yo, that's too low. You need to even at least 1-2 days a week, like try eating at a surplus, 1.5 times your calories at the very least, and see what that'll do for your body. You're going to feel more energized. Your periods will probably be better. You'll just feel more nutrient rich in your body, and your workouts might even be better. So that's what I want to say, but it's just hard because we are just two normal people. Yeah. And I don't want to tell you should be eating more when you feel it's natural to only eat 900 calories. So I guess that's a good question for you. What do you do, right? You train people, you coach people.
Yeah, you flipped the script on me. The interview has been switched. So what I do when I see people that are, in my opinion, low, like I really don't like to see anybody below 1,200, especially if they're starting. I'm like, let's shoot for 1,200 to 1,500. You know, these are people that I'm monitoring the workout, so I know they're being active. I know they're not like just sitting at home doing nothing. And a lot of them have already lost weight, so they kind of have that metabolism kind of revved up already.
Yeah.
So I just tell them to trust the system. I'm like, you got it, because so many of them come to me. They're like, this keto flu won't go away, and I'm thinking, I don't think it's keto flu. I think you just feel like shit because you're not eating enough.
Right.
So let's try eating more. Or they're not going to the bathroom. Like, I haven't pooped in 6 weeks. I'm like, why did you wait 6 weeks to tell me this?
Oh my God.
I'm like, when it comes out, it's going to be like a blue ribbon award winner here. Yeah. So I kick up the calories for sure. And I'm like, give me 4 weeks of increased calories. And they start using the bathroom again. They're like, wow, my head feels a lot better. My keto flu has gone away. And so we try to keep them up in that. And then we measure the results. And they usually still drop body fat. We measure their body fat. We measure their weight. We do different physical assessments. Like I've got a lovely 30 burpee for time challenge that all of my clients love. It used to be worse though. It used to be 100 burpees and then run a mile. So that was way worse.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was not workout for normies. That was like psycho.
Yeah. No.
So we do different physical assessments just to make sure that things are rolling. And then if we need to, we get their doctors plugged in. But usually we don't have to mess with that. And then we factor in whether they're on blood pressure meds and different things like that. But yeah, it's pretty much just a calorie thing. Like you just got to trust the system and view it as an experiment. Like this isn't like I got to lose weight with keto in 8 weeks or I'm going to die. It's like, okay, like you guys, I think you guys are a great example of that with all the experimentation. It's like, let's just figure it out and let's take the pressure off ourselves and learn. There's no mistakes as long as we learn. And that's what you guys do so well. So
thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's what it always gets back to. It's just like thinking longer term is going to be so much more beneficial. All these things you're figuring out, like that, we're 29 years old right now. All these things we've figured out in the past 2 years, they apply for the next 60 years of our lives. We know these things about ourselves. If you think of it more as like a game, like you're learning about yourself, you're figuring this thing out, instead of a lot of people put the onus on the diet. Like this diet isn't working. It's not me. It's not me. I'm not the one who's not doing it wrong. The diet's failing me. You just got to like think of it as a long-term project. Your body's a project.
Yeah, and then we've talked to a lot of people, like with interviews, and just watched a lot of videos, and I think we're both of the opinion now that internal healing is just so much more key than looking beautiful on the outside. And so in that process, if you do put on some weight, so be it. You can lose it. You can always lose weight. But if you are bettering yourself metabolically and getting rid of like hormonal issues through healing in a healthy keto way, then that I think is more important.
Yeah. If you're doing keto and you're maintaining at 1,000 calories a day, that's just, you have some serious dieting history and metabolic damage and stuff. It's probably good, as you kind of were saying, what you recommend is like a month, 2 months. Don't even get on the scale. Just think about it as healing your body. You want to build your metabolism up. You want to probably put on a little bit of weight, and then you set yourself up for, 2 months from now, you can actually start losing weight. Because you're at 1,000 right now and you're maintaining. Where do you go from there? There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say that the scale makes really, really intelligent people do really, really dumb things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So, not weighing yourself for a while may be the key takeaway from this entire episode. And there's so many ways we can improve ourselves. Just like you said, I mean, we can get stronger. We can work on doing pull-ups. Like I have some people that I've got a 65-year-old client that's getting ready to retire. She's lost over 60 pounds, and her mission after she lost her weight and hit that goal was to be able to deadlift her body weight. And I've got a picture of her that it's like my favorite picture ever. She deadlifted 145 pounds at 65, and she just dropped the biggest F-bomb ever when she did. I have the moment of me like laughing when she does it. And it's great. But things like that, I mean, it's so important to have those non-scale victories, non-scale goals, because scale obsession is a nasty road to go down, whether you're doing keto or anything. So now one other thing you guys touched on was that you guys have had the opportunity to talk to a lot of very interesting people. Like your podcast is I genuinely listen to it. I subscribe to it. I binge listen, like I said, just to work on your download numbers, give me a little boost. But what interview or, since you've been talking to all these, very eclectic range of people, has there been anything that's really connected with you guys? Like we need to change our thinking in that way, or just shifted the way that you thought about keto or anything else, life in general?
So Matt and I are definitely going down different roads. So different interviews are going to resonate with us, but we did 2 recently that are coming up in the next 2 weeks with Mike Mutzel from High Intensity Health, incredible interview, and then Emily Schramm. And both of them are big in, having a gut healthy diet, working on like adrenal fatigue and just internally healing and eating healthy foods and not focusing on tracking and being obsessed with things and getting really active and enjoying what you do when you are active to just make life just a richer process. And those were the 2 big ones for me recently because that's what I want to focus on. I've been obsessed with the scale so long, for 25 years of my life, and it's excruciating. It's painful to get up every day and just be upset because I don't weigh a certain way or I don't look a certain way in a dress and guys don't like me. And I've had all these unhealthy eating habits. And finally at 29, I feel like I can relate to people, who want better for themselves. And it's not just about the weight. And Mike Mutzel and Emily Schramm were those 2 for me.
Little bit of a change up here. So one that I would recommend for sure is Amber O'Hearn. Carnivore Diet. I like that. I'm into that type of stuff. I think it makes a lot of sense for me, and I've tried it. A lot of the people that do carnivore, they really just go heavy on the muscle meats, and it skews higher protein. If I do more of a carnivore diet, I like to add fat to it, which most people don't do, but that's the way I like to do it. But also Mike Mutzel. Talking to him, High Intensity Health YouTube channel. I think it's highintensityhealth.com too. He's just the person that I talked to, and I was like, oh, I'm having these new thoughts. He's already thought about that. Like he's thought about all these things. He has a very nuanced approach. He really has put a lot of thought into nutrition. And, he interviews a ton of people on his channel, leading experts in keto and just fitness in general. Just a really awesome guy. And I ran a bunch of ideas by him and he's like, yeah, I've thought those type of things too, 5 or 10 years ago. And now I think this different from what you think. So yeah, he's a really knowledgeable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get those links for those shows, those episodes when we put out your episode, and we'll link that up in the show notes too.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I want to be respectful of you guys' time. Speaking of your show and your website, what's the best way for everybody to get connected with you? Because my audience is keto hungry right now because I like I said, I've been a little bit keto crazy myself for the last 5 months, really deep diving to learn more about it and experience it myself. And I've launched a test group and all these people. So they are very hungry for keto knowledge. I know they'll want to follow you and connect with you. So how do they do that?
That is awesome that everyone's getting more into it. KetoConnect.net is the best place. And at the top bar, we have a free ebook. You can download the top 10 recipes of last year as voted on by the viewers. So they're all hits, guaranteed. And then we also just have a cookbook that's on pre-order right now, Keto Made Easy. You can get that on Amazon. And then Instagram and YouTube, Keto Connect. We're doing experiments on there.
Yeah, if you want to just shoot us an email too, we're always on our email. So ketoconnect@gmail.com is a good way to get in touch with us.
And the podcast.
And our podcast, of course, Keto for Normies. Please subscribe.
And Matt's got the best intro in the business on the podcast.
She hates it.
But I emailed Megha and I said, I'm going to one-up Matt on because I do a little voice work on the side. So I'm going to, we didn't, for you guys out there in podcast land, I record the interview and then I do the intro after we do the interview. So you guys are going to have to check it. I'm going to drop a little Michael Buffer, little, let's get ready. No, that whole thing. It's going to be awesome. So you guys will have to listen in for that. So we'll definitely link that up in the show notes. One final question. I get a lot of people that are in my audience that show up. They've tried a lot of things. They're very frustrated. Similar to what you felt when you were talking a second ago, Megha, about there's a lot of I'm not there yet. I'm frustrated. Whether they're doing keto or not, if somebody is listening and if you could just kind of grab them and look them eye to eye and try to get them motivated, like they're feeling that, I'm a little bit lost. I've tried a lot of things. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired and failing at nutrition and diets. What type of motivation would you guys tell somebody like that?
Yeah, my advice on that is you're never there. You're never there yet. So this whole thing's a process. When for me, when I realized this was when I got the job out of college as a computer engineer, making a good salary. I was like, this is it. Find my wife, have a few babies. I'm set. This is the whole goal. This is why I went to college. This is supposed to be the answer. And then sitting at my cubicle, I was like, this isn't really it. I'd take half the pay to do something I really like. And if you kind of just realize this whole thing's a process, you're not going to hit a weight on the scale and you're going to be like, yes, I'm set. When you hit that weight that you think is the weight you want to be at, then you're probably going to want to build muscle. There's always going to be ways to improve. And I think that's just at some point you'll realize that. And for me, I read this book, Mastery by George Leonard, which I always recommend. That was what I was at this point in my life where I was just trying so many different things, like side hustles, different businesses. And then I read that book, started Keto Connect, just stuck with it. No one was watching, no one was listening, no one was making our recipes. I just kept doing it because I knew I've tried this so many times. I picked something up, quit, picked something up, got kind of good. It's fun, and then it just stopped being fun, and you quit. You just have to keep going. It's hard sometimes, but if you just really dedicate a long-term effort to something, you're gonna get the result you want over time.
Yeah, and then something simple that complements what Matt said is also something I read, and it stuck with me and really changed the way I approach life. It's just the phrase, act the way you want to feel. So when Matt gets me mad or when I'm in traffic and it's I'm frustrated, I just remind myself, act the way I want to feel. Oh, I want to feel happy and excited and lighthearted. And I can instantly just change my mood because I don't want to feel shitty. I don't want to feel mad at my, life partner. I don't want to feel mad at the world for no reason. So just really focus on acting the way you want to feel.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And like I said, that's what I love about you guys, how just honest and open you are. And I just want to take a second before we close up just to say thank you to you guys because you give people like me hope in the podcasting space and the influencer space. Seeing you guys, I know that you've put your hand down in the dirt and put in work for like Matt said, nobody was listening, nobody was showing up, but you just kept going anyway. And in the business, I reach out to a lot of top podcasters. I get hooked on a podcast. I'm like, I got to get him on the show. And I get a lot of no's, a lot of just non-responses. Okay, I guess that didn't work. So I just appreciate you guys saying yes and saying, this guy doesn't have the biggest podcast in the world, but there's an audience there. And, you know, I just got ranked in the top 100 in fitness nutrition for first time, probably about 3 months ago. You know, I float in and out, but I'm not like top 10, whatever, you know, but you give me a lot of hope, and you give me, you know, you're the type of people that I know that I want to be like. I want to emulate what you guys are doing and act like you're acting. So I just appreciate the openness and just the communication, and just, you know, being willing to come on, a show like this and spread your message. So I appreciate you guys very, very much.
No, thank you. You're doing amazing things over there. I think we get a lot of messages from people, you know, trying to start things like this too. And I think if you're actively, like, it's actually your interest, like active self-interest, like you're involved in the community. I think that's why we have so much success, is because we are really like in the community, and we are getting feedback from people on what they want to hear. We try creating that for them. And it's really just like a give and take type of thing where you're scratching your own itch. That's like where the best things come from. And it seems like you're doing that over there. You're doing a lot of good stuff. We're going to get to 1 million pounds here in the next, do you have a timeline on that? Like the next year or two?
I don't know, man. I think we'll hit that point of just that tipping point, and it's just going to go crazy. Like, I think we're going to hit 100,000 pounds by the end of this year. And
nice.
Then I think it's going to go nuts. It's just that when it kind of goes viral and people can just log on to the website and donate their weight, you know, and what people are starting to realize is like, hey, this guy's doing this 1 million pound mission thing, and he can't do that. It's not like the $1 million mission. Like, I can make $1 million off of people, but I can't do 1 million pounds unless I help people. So They realize like, oh, he's got to actually help us, or this isn't going to happen. And this is my life's purpose. Like, it's going to happen, you know, whether people like it or not. I'm an unstoppable force of positive momentum, I like to say. So we're going to make it happen for sure. But yeah, no, I think what you guys are doing is just amazing. I'm going to continue to throw support your direction. I'm so psyched to be able to share your story and your message with my audience. And you've got a loyal friend and follower in me. Everybody out there, I want you to, as always, think about what Megha and Matt have said over the last 45 minutes, and try to pick out at least one thing that you can take some sort of action with in the next 24 hours. Because this podcast, I hope it's entertaining, but I want it actionable. I don't want you to just sit back and be like, Adam said, you know, a funny thing about people not pooping for 6 weeks. Like, I want, it needs to be more than that. They drop some serious knowledge bombs on you. So I want you to pull out one key thing, take action on that, whether it's going to their website, maybe pre-ordering the recipe book, or just, you know, interacting with them on Instagram or on Facebook, or just getting connected, or just getting started, setting some goals. So the next 24 hours, what is your action step so that you can continue to get out there? And as always, we're going to own it every meal, every workout, every day. I will see you on the next episode.
Hang on just 1 second before you go anywhere, everybody. I've got a huge favor to ask of you, all right? We are in this together. We are doing this 1 million pound mission together as a community. And I'm so excited about the progress we've made so far. But we're going to keep building it one person, one transformation, one voice at a time. It starts with my voice blasting into this microphone, giving you everything I've got, trying to inspire you and motivate you and give you the tools that you need to make those transformation dreams come true. The next voice is your voice sharing it with somebody else. Let somebody know that this will make an impact for them, that it inspired you and it might inspire them. If you really want to go all out, share this episode on your favorite social media platform. And if you do, please tag me so that I can give you a great big thank you. That's it. Share this out with one person that you think it could make an impact with, that can make a difference with. And I'll be so, so grateful for you. We're in it together. 1 million pound mission. It's on, my friend.